Hey, Ray Martin here for Church of the Ascension Family Life. What if there was a couple of simple things that you could do that would ensure that your marriage would last a lifetime? Could it really be that simple? Would you do it? My grandparents were blessed to be able to celebrate 50 years of marriage together, which was really incredible because it was not the first marriage for either of them. For my grandmother, it was her second, and for my grandfather, it was his third. And I recall how meaningful it was for them to have made this milestone together. But when my mom passed away, one of the hardest things that I had to do was to give my grandparents that news. And what was so touching was that they stayed up all night together recounting stories from my mom's life, from her birth all the way up until the time that she passed. And I just remember thinking that that was the kind of relationship that I wanted to have in my marriage. You know, to be there with one another, even in the midst of pain and sorrow. But how do people keep their marriages together over the course of a lifetime, and why should we when relationships can be so difficult to maintain? Steve Bollman, author of The Choice Wine, which is a book and video series that highlights 7 steps to what they call a super abundant marriage, begins by sharing research on the benefits to getting married and staying married. He refers to the statistical data as a marriage premium, meaning that married people seem to benefit greatly by being married. And he says that married people are happier, healthier, and wealthier than average. And when it comes to happiness, a general social survey stated that married people are happier than single, divorced, separated, or widowed people. That same social survey also said that people who have never been married have a 75% increase in poor health, and those who are divorced have a 90% increase compared to those who are married, according to that general social survey. And when it comes to wealth, married individuals accumulate approximately 4 times the net wealth of those who have never been married or who are divorced, according to the Journal of Marriage and Family Study in 2002. So Steve Bollman refers to the first 3 steps in the Choice Wine as a way to nearly divorce-proof your marriage, meaning that statistically the likelihood of getting divorced is almost zero when you follow these behaviors that were discovered through the research of successful couples. So over the next few weeks, I want to go a little bit more in depth with you on these specific steps, which I'm going to call the 3 F's of marriage shielding. And the first one is fidelity, the second one is fiscal stewardship, and the third is faith devotion. Now, Bollman had a father-in-law named Riley Leggett, and Riley's an example that's used throughout this entire program. Riley offered Steve some advice just before getting married to his daughter, that if he would just eat dinner with his family every night and sit with his family every Sunday in church, that his marriage would work out. And this sounds a little bit trite or almost too simple, but I think that there's a lot of wisdom in this message. So in the Choice Wine, they offer a little bit more research here, and they say that only 7% of families who eat dinner together 5 or more times a week experience a great deal of tension. That was from a Columbia University study in September of 2005. They also shared that only 17% of those who attend worship services on a weekly basis have been divorced, and that was that general social survey again. So I hope you'll stick with me over the next few weeks as we review the 3 F's, or what the Choice Wine refers to as their first 3 steps to a superabundant marriage. And if you haven't checked out the Choice Wine, you can find out more information about their video series or book at thechoicewine.com. We'll see you next time.